Hey sis, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Purity is Precious podcast. I'm Precious Joy, the founder of Purity is Precious, and today we are doing episode number 4. So today we're going to talk about quite a bit actually. But today's title for episode number 4 is "Some Days This Journey is Too Hard for Me." Yeah, that title. Whew, my God, and we're just gonna be 100% honest on this one for sure. But some days this journey is too hard for me. Have you ever felt like that? Have you ever felt like, what in the world did I get myself to? What was I thinking trying to commit to this? I can't see myself doing this any longer. This journey has been too long for me. Sis, if that's how you've been feeling, I can definitely tell you straight out that I've been there and I've revisited that place quite a few times not too long ago. And it's definitely something that can definitely cause hope deferred. But one of the things that I've learned and that I noticed is that you don't have to necessarily dwell there and remain there. And so, even with that, you pretty much just learn how to accept the process, accept the moment, understand where you are and why you're in this particular position. But you pull yourself together, you dust yourself off, you surround yourself around the right group of people, and you choose to move forward and you choose to keep enduring and overcoming. And so I wanted to let you know that regardless of how you're feeling, even in this particular moment, that God can sustain you. Once again, we have to keep God in the forefront of what it is that we're doing, in the forefront of our virginity, in the forefront of our celibacy, in the forefront of our abstinence, in the forefront of our purity. We have to keep God in the forefront of those areas. As I mentioned in the very beginning, some episodes ahead, that one of the very things that I've learned to do is how to surrender um, my virginity to God, how to surrender my purity to God, how to surrender this brand, how to surrender this podcast, how to surrender so many different things. I've been learning and I've been doing this for quite some time on how to properly surrender so that I don't necessarily carry the weight of it all. A lot of times we carry unnecessary weights and things that we don't have to carry because we don't necessarily know how to hand it over to God. But once you start to learn how to fully hand it over to God, then you will begin to understand that God has a perfect plan. He has a perfect setup for you, and that you will not necessarily always be in this particular place, and you will not always have this same struggle. But you have to position yourself right. You have to get your mind right. You have to keep your mind in the game. So, sis, I do understand how you feel. Whereas, if you are in a certain place and right now you feel like this journey is too hard for you, this journey is taking too long for you, you ready to get some, you ready to get your walls rubbed the right way. Trust me, baby, I do understand and I do know how you feel. So what I want to talk to you all about though is, ways to protect against feeling those type of ways and ways to protect against acting out in those things. We brushed on it in episode 3 where I was talking about you do need a community. I mentioned that a community, a safe haven, a good community is vital for your celibacy. It's vital for your abstinence. It's vital for your virginity. It's vital for your purity. You need a good community. So today we're going to talk about, why do you need a community? Why do you need a community of like-minded women? Well, for one, they will keep you grounded. Like-minded women understand the journey, they understand the process, they understand what you're going through, they understand what you're walking through, and therefore they can help keep you grounded. Because just like I was stating, I was in this particular place where I was thinking that this journey was too hard for me a couple of months ago or last month. And even with me thinking that in my mind, basically I've had to overcome it. I had to endure it. I had to reach out to some women that were solid women for me, that were good friends, that were good communicators, and that I can communicate with, that can understand where I am and how I feel. So as I reached out to them and as I got to that place and as we understood each other and as they helped me to see things from a completely different perspective, they kept me grounded. They kept encouraging me. They kept letting me know why I'm in this for the long run and what's going on and how purity is precious is the backdrop to this. So you need to have like-minded women that is going to be grounded and that's going to keep you grounded. Those type of people will speak life and confidence into you when it seems like your confidence is fading away, when it seems like you're in over your head, because trust and believe me, you're going to feel like some days that you're in over your head with wanting to remain a virgin until marriage, with trying to keep putting off this particular guy that you really really do like, and yet he's steady making passes at you and telling you what he will do to you and what you don't have to do to him. Isn't that like a typical man? They love to set it up on the table. They love to create you a picture image of what it is that they would love to do to you and for you, but you don't have to return it or exchange. You know, you will be tempted with those type of things. I've been tempted with those type of things, and I meditated and I contemplated, and I was like, huh, this sounds pretty good. But I took it to close friends and to close people um, that I have good relationships with, and I ran it by them. And they said, yeah, but Precious, I don't think that that's a good idea. And here's my reasons why. So, you need a community of people, you need a community of women that are like minded. That will help you in moments like this, that will help you to get over and to tread over different things that will try to come and cause you to possibly stumble. You need people that's going to help you to stand flat footed and solid in what it is that you know to be true and right for you. Um, One of the other reasons why you need to have a good community of women around you, a good community, is because they will show you love. They show you love. Let's face it, we all desire love. We all desire to be cared for. We all desire to be kept. We all desire to be a part of, to feel a part of. That's important for us. That's important for people to feel a part of. And when you have a right group of women around you, that's what they do for you. They make you feel like you're a part of. They make you feel like you're loved. And it's not like they make you. It's authentic. It's genuine. They will genuinely give you love. They will genuinely support you. They will genuinely root for you and cheer for you in every area of your life. So you want to have a community of women who are on the same pursuit as you, so that they can administer that to you, administer that safe haven, administer those different areas where now you don't have to fear of falling or fear of becoming a victim to when you hit hard peaks and hard moments in your life, because trust me, that is going to occur where you're going to hit those hard peaks, and you're going to be looking for the community of women to help you in this particular area. And then guess what, one day you're going to be on the other side, and the same women that helped you is going to need for you to help them through the same thing that you went through. Because you have to keep in mind that it's topsy turvy. It's going to always have unbalances or whatnot, and it's not that they is and is it was going to be unbalances from time to time, but there are people and there are women that are where God graces them for us. God may grace a certain woman for you to help you through that rough patch, and then God will drop a different grace on you for that particular woman to help her through a different rough patch. And so this thing is very is important, and it's definitely pivotal that the right community of women will definitely help you in areas where you feel like this journey has become too hard for you. One of the other things that community does for you is that it shows you that you are not alone. I talked about it. It seems like everybody and their mama, let me use the old folks term, is screwing. It seems like everybody and their mama getting the walls rubbed the right way but us. So you are going to feel like you are alone, child. And even if you feel like that, I don't want you to ever think that that's the case. A good community of women will show you that you are not alone. That is what the Purity is Precious movement is about. That is what this organization has been created for, to show you that you are not alone. And when you have friends that are active, you will feel like, what am I waiting for? If you have friends that are out there, you're going to feel that type of way, but at the same time, you have to be focused. And that's why it's important for you to have people and women around you that are, they may not be virgins, but they may be celibate. They may not be celibate, but they may be entertaining the thought of abstinence. In order to get to that place of entertaining the thought of abstinence, that's the thing where it's like a mental decision. So that means that this could be a person that is not only going to help you, but she can glean from you as well. So you want to have people around you that have similar goals in regards to in regards to maintaining sexually, such as you. You want to have people with similar goals around you, so that you two um, can be solid forces for each other. You know, it's biblical that iron sharpens iron. You need those other individuals around you so that when you're weak in a certain area, they can help sharpen you and get you right on the right track. And then when they're weak in a certain area, you're the one that helps sharpens them. It's the community, it's what we're building, and it's what we're establishing not only within ourselves, but mentally, physically, as well as emotionally. Um, I would also like to recommend to you all that you get a mentor. Mentors are definitely important. I never thought that mentors were important back in the day, and I've had I had like one good mentor, and thank God she has definitely stuck along with me, and we've had many, I do many ups and downs, but she has definitely stuck along with me or whatnot. I try to update with her quite a few times throughout the year. Ever since the pandemic has happened, that has kind of like, stifled that to an extent, but I would definitely recommend that you get you a good mentor. And mentors don't have to be somebody that is, that has a sexual abstinence, or, that's a virgin or anything like that. You don't necessarily have to be that. You just want a well rounded individual that can see the things in you that you can't see, that can help correct those things, and that can help bring you to a completely different place in your life. And so I want to talk to you about, because we're talking about when the journey is too hard, putting things and put people in a proper position. So we just talked about you needing the right community of women, or the right community in general around you to help you to endure when the journey gets too hard for you. So now we're going to talk about what's the purpose of mentors. Mentors are important, and as I stated beforehand, I have one. And so I want you to know that mentors are necessary because the right mentors will see the blind spots through communication. The right mentors will see the blind spots through communication. There will be things that you will say that is normal to you to say. There are things that I say that's normal to me to say, but my mentor on multiple occasions have said to me, well, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? What is that? That don't sound right to me, Precious. Explain that. What is that where does that come from? You need the right mentors, and mentors will do things like that for you. They will be able to get you to the place where they can see things and they hear things through your conversation that is practically normal to you, that you don't necessarily hear on a regular through you. So that's one of the reasons why I would recommend getting a mentor. If you never considered it, you want to consider it now. That mentors are definitely important. Mentors are the guys that put you back on track when you give, that put you back on track and give you insight to other areas of your life that may have caused you to stumble or consider uncanny thoughts. So, mentors put you right back on track and give you the insight to things in your life that may have caused you to stumble or put you right back on track. That is very important. I can remember one day when I was sitting down talking to a mentor of mine. I was talking about in regards to how stressed out I was. And I was like, I'm so stressed. I can't stand this. Da 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 da. I'm not in a good place. We want the bam. And these are days when I'm like this. These are days where I wish I wasn't a virgin. And I just kept talking, and she said, "Hold on, wait, what?" And I stopped and I looked at her and I said, "Yeah, I have days like that. And today is one of those days. This week has been one of those days for me." And she's like, "Why do you feel that way?" And I said, "Well, simply because of the fact that I was told that sex releases the stress hormone. So if I wasn't a virgin, I would have went and just had sex with somebody and got my stress hormone released, and that would have been that." So that was my mindset in that particular time, and I didn't see anything wrong with that. But it was my mentor, that heard me say that, and then she called that thing back into check, and then made me look at it from a totally different perspective in regards to how my thoughts and my views was of concerning that. And so, as we had that conversation, I was able to understand how my insight had been twisted and how my perspective was completely off. And now, all of a sudden, I was in a position where I was allowing myself to talk myself about something that was so valuable that I should not have even entertained the negative thought of even considering in the first place. I should not have never been considering that me not being a virgin will allow me to go sleep with some random man and just to get a stress hormone release. What type of crap is that? What type of thought pattern is that? It's definitely an uncircumcised thought pattern. That's for sure. But it wasn't until my mentor called that into check that I was able to fully understand, like, oh, okay, that is off or whatnot. And the last thing I want to talk about with mentors is that mentors are typically full of wisdom and they educate you to a place of sobriety. Mentors are full of wisdom and they educate you to a place of sobriety. It was not until I had a mentor that my mentor helped me to sober up in my emotions. She helped me to see things from a completely different perspective and from a completely different viewpoint and from a completely different and I think I said perspective, but she helped me to see things in a different light. And then I had to sober up in my emotions because she wasn't one that was going to play with my emotions. You need somebody that is not afraid to be raw and authentic and real with you in your emotions or whatnot, and someone that is full of wisdom. It's nothing like being able to sit at the feet of a woman that has a lot of wisdom, that has a solid relationship with God, that has a solid relationship with other women in her life, because you want to be around with, you want to have somebody that has successful healthy friendships and relationships with women that are genuine and that is not for what you can get, what they can get out of the relationship. But you want to pay attention to the fruit of the mentors that you do have, for the simple fact that the fruit that they have should be similar to the same fruit that you would eventually want to manifest in your life. And so when you're deciding or picking or trying to decide if there's someone that is a good mentor for you, you want to know what their fruit is. You want to build a relationship with them. You want to give them the permission to be raw and honest with you. And truthfully be told, a good mentor ain't gonna ask you for permission for that. They just gonna call you on your crap. That's just what it boils down to. They're gonna call you on your mess and take it or leave it. You don't like it, oh well. Go chew on that and meditate on that for a while. And then call me in a couple of weeks. That's a real mentor for you. So, mentors are important. You have to have, in this journey where you feel like the journey is getting too hard for you, you have to have someone that is going to, you have to have a good community of people that you trust. You have to have a good mentor. And then on top of that, you have to have God. Why do you need God? As I stated, there are going to be times when I'm going to reference to foundational things that are biblical in my podcast or whatnot, but I do want us to understand that God is important. God is in our life. God is necessary. God is there. And one of the things that I want you to know is that why you need God. What is the reason why you need God? Have you ever considered why you need God outside of why you need Him? Have you ever considered that question? outside of why you need him, and I should say why you need him presently. Have you ever considered why you just need God as a whole, as an individual? Consider that, because this is important. This is extremely important. But one of the reasons why you need God is because God is omnipresent. You know, that's one of the main things that I love about God. This is one of the main things that I love about him is that the fact that he's omnipresent, which means that even in this moment with me doing this podcast with you and with me talking to you all, he's right here in this room with me. This very office that I'm sitting in, he got this for me. He established this for me. This was not something that I did on my own, but it's just the fact that the ambience of him was here in this building, and this was the building that he led me to. So, therefore, even as I talk to you all, and even as I do my podcast, and as I'm communicating, God is here. He's omnipresent. When I leave here to go to my car to head home, he's going to meet me in my car. When I leave here to go to my house, and when I get into my house, he's going to meet me in my house. One of my favorite stories to tell, and this is real quick and real briefly. And this is just to show how omnipresent God is or whatnot. Is that I always work very early in the morning, so I'm usually up around 3 a.m. or whatnot to get ready to go to work and things of that nature. And so, as I was heading to work, as I head to work, a lot of times, I would worship in my car as I'm driving and just have a good relationship with God, because I talked about how I love to have conversation with God in the morning to start off my day. Every morning I would get in my car and drive to work, and I would worship. And this was like this had become a norm for me. And one day I got up and I got in my car, and as I was driving to work, before I got in my car, I opened up my car door and I sat in my car, and instantly there was this vapor of flowers, of roses, a bouquet. It just smelled so good. And one of the things about me, and anybody that knows me, you should know me. If you know me, I am not a flowery type of girl. I've never been somebody that is like head over heels over perfumes and things of that nature. I have them and I do wear some of them, but it's not something. I'm not the woman that'll go into a store and then want to look at and smell all kind of different fragrances and spray. That's never been me. So when I got in the car and this aroma engulfed me, and I smelled like these different roses and these flowers, it was such a sweet fragrance. And I don't have any car scents in my car, so I knew that it was different and that this was not a scent that I was used to experiencing or having. But when I had that experience, I started to laugh after I realized that that was God letting me know that He was in that moment with me. He was in the car with me, and that He was anticipating our worship session as I went on my day to work. That blessed my life that day. So it goes to show how omnipresent God is. And this wasn't a relationship that I was doing because I needed something from God at that moment where I was in a rough patch. This was just me cultivating and developing a relationship with God. And as I cultivated and as I developed that relationship with God, He showed up and He let me know that morning that even though it may seem like I'm not here, I'm actually here. And today I'm waiting for you because I'm anticipating. I enjoy my time with you. That was so special to me. That was so that was so amazing to me. And that is so encouraging, especially to know that God is there when you're in the middle of a hardship. When you're in the middle of a hardship and and you're on this journey and you're feeling like I don't have it in me, God. I feel like I'm getting weak. This celibacy thing is too heavy for me right now. I'm in desperate need. My sexual desires is kicking up. God is omnipresent. Just imagine the type of what He can do for those sexual desires and what He can do for you if you just allow for Him to be omnipresent in every area of your life, no matter where you're going, no matter where you're heading, no matter what you're doing. Another thing that I want you all to understand is that God doesn't expect for you to walk alone. Nowhere in the Bible where you really see that everybody you will not see that throughout the course of the Bible that God that everything that happened people walked totally alone. There were seasons where there were isolation, yes, But it always bounces back to community. It always bounces back to God being present with whoever, whoever it was that we were looking at, whether it was Job in the Bible. Job was never alone, but Job went through, I almost said, a hell of a lot of stuff. He went through a hell of a lot of stuff, y'all. He went through some hardships. He went through some crap that a lot of us would have caved at. And to think that he was never alone. And it wasn't until Job went throughout the complete process that at the end of it, he realized that God was with him the entire time. So I want you to know that God don't expect for you to walk alone. He wants you to walk with him on this journey with you. And this is where I talk about in regards to in the beginning. I know that I said that I surrender my virginity to God. I surrender my purity to God. I surrender these brands and my organization to God. But there are days when I also say, God, I welcome you into this room. When I'm spending time with God, I welcome him into the room with me. I welcome him into the environments with me because I'm trying to get him to get comfortable to come in, and I'm trying to make myself more conducive to knowing his presence whenever he do come in, whenever he do arrive, whenever he do come and invade, because I want God to invade my life. I want him to invade my heart. I want him to invade my emotions. I want him to feel like wherever I am, he is more than welcome. But one of the things that you have to know is that God is a gentleman. God is indeed a gentleman. He is not going to force himself on you or your affairs. You have to ask him, you have to welcome him, and he will definitely answer. That's what we look for in people, right? We look for people, and when we're looking for a certain man, or things of that nature, we're looking for one of the main things we're looking for is chivalry. And then we're also looking for him to be a gentleman. This is how God is. God is chivalrous in all his ways. So we have the ultimate blueprint daily of what it is that we're looking for and who it is that we're looking for. And yet we have to make it known that God, we need you and that we want you in our space. And so I want you to know that God values your purity. God values your celibacy. God values your virginity. God values your abstinence. And he desires for you to understand that value as well to the greatest capacity possible. He wants you to discover more about you and to understand more about you and to become more comfortable with you and to be in a place where you are rock solid in you. No matter what people say, no matter what happens, no matter what transitions come in life, God wants you to be comfortable and rock solid with you. And he wants you to understand that value, just like I want you to understand that value. And that's why I'm here, to help you to understand that value to a greater level, to help you understand where you're heading and where you're going and what you're doing and where you're about to head to. I'm here for those reasons for you. So you have to understand that you need God because with God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. There is no error. There is no mistakes. There is no mishaps. There is no shoulda, coulda, woulda, beens. All things are possible. Purity is possible. Celibacy is possible. Maintaining virginity is possible until marriage. Pursuing abstinence is possible with God. You just have to welcome Him in it and know that it is definitely worth the journey. Okay. And so, the last thing that I want to touch on in regards to this podcast segment of This Journey is Too Hard for Me is to refuse to give up. You have to refuse to give up, sis. Don't you dare throw in the towel. Don't you dare feel like I can't do this any longer. Don't you dare feel like this journey is just too hard for me and I just would rather have a quick fix. Don't you dare throw in the towel. You have more people rooting for you than you can ever imagine. Just imagine how many people is really at the other side of your obedience, at the other side of your journey, at the other side of your fulfillment of this particular journey. There are people that are rooting for me that I don't even know. There are people that are rooting for you that you don't even know. But the point is that if you throw in the towel and if you give up, then you just abandon a posture that could have helped thrust someone else into another aspect, into another place of sobriety in their life that they needed for you to endure and to overcome so that you can help impart that into them. And that's what I want you to understand. You have a level of impartation in you that is necessary for someone else. What we are walking through, what I'm doing, my purity and things of that nature is not just for me. None of this is just for me. This is part of the journey, but none of this is just for me. So I want you to consider that. I want you to know that you are indeed the blueprint to someone else's promise. Everything that I stated that we walk through, that we go through, it is not just for ourselves. We are the blueprint, the instructions, the manual, the prototype to someone else's promise. Some people need to see you go through it. Some people need to see you overcome it. Some people need to see you endure. Some people need to see you be triumphant in it so that they can understand the process, so that they can understand the journey, and so that they can take the necessary steps to be able to overcome. You're somebody's blueprint. And I want you to know that this desire that was placed in your heart to remain pure is not there just because. It's not there just because. There's a greater call and a greater anointing on your life. And a lot of times when you have a greater call on your life, God will require different things from you. You won't be able to get away with things that other people can get away with. You won't be able to do things that other people can do and have no condemnation concerning it. That's not how it goes. That's just not how it goes. There are plenty of times when I feel like if I go sleep with somebody and I do this outside of marriage, I might as well just throw the whole brand away. And that's one of the main things that keep me going when I look at purity is precious. That keeps me going. When I feel like this journey is too hard for me, I think about all my girls that are 11 to 17 that's looking at me, that's watching me. And now, even with me expanding to 18 and up to the more mature women, there are women that's watching me. If I do this, if I make that decision, if I decide that I'm just tired of this journey and this journey is too hard for me and I decide that I'm done with it, then I might as well throw all the brand away with it. If God trusted me with this, then why wouldn't I trust God to keep me and to sustain me and to give me what it is that I need to continue to endure? That's real. That's real. This is not by coincidence that you're still a virgin. It's not by coincidence that you're practicing celibacy and that your celibacy has lasted more than 5 years, has lasted more than a year, has lasted more than 10 years. This is not by coincidence that you're considering being abstinence. There's a greater call. And many of you have had the courage to answer the call. And even as said that, that just brought a huge smile to my face because it's like you are awakening to who you are. You are awakening to your value, to your substance, to what God has called you to be. You are awakening, sis. Don't fall back into that sleep and into that slumber. This journey ain't too hard for you, girl. You just got to get your mind right. Put your mind back in the game. Put your mind back in the game because greatness awaits you. So that's the end of this one, y'all. I want you all to follow me on Instagram. If you're not already doing so, invite a friend, tell somebody about the Purity is Precious podcast, and follow me on Instagram at precious_joy30. You can follow my purityisprecious.com. You can go on purityisprecious.com. Send me an email. Let's talk. Let's chat it up. Let me know if this podcast is blessing you. Also, you can follow me at Purity is Precious. And then I do have the podcast Instagram page as well, which is at the Purity is Precious podcast. I love you, ladies. I'm praying for you all. I'm rooting for you all. And I'm definitely encouraging each and every one of you to not give up. Refuse to give up, girl. You'll be all right.